Georgia will have a new offensive line coach in 2022. Matt Luke stepping down. And some breaking news today on President's Day. It's kind of an interesting time for things to pop out in late February like this. And from what I understand, it's not for Matt Luke to take another position. That's really all I can say about that part. That's what Dog Post is for. Go over there. We can update you really by the minute, by the moment, whatever you want to call it. I thought Matt Luke did a pretty good job. He was very different than Sam Pittman. But the results, speak for themselves. If you look at Georgia during this run to the national championship, um, and Matt Luke's group was a vital part of it. I mean, the running at the end of both the Clemson game as well as the national championship game really closed those games out. And you're not going to get holes like that um, all the time. But has some dynamic playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. But you're coming into there's a couple of things here. First of all, the offensive line is going to be a strength for Georgia coming into 2022. And Matt Luke was there for 2 seasons after being unceremoniously gotten rid of by Ole Miss. You're going to have Warren Erickson back. You're going to have Cedric. Well, let's start. Cedric Van Pran will be your center, okay? And then from there, you can fill things in. Xavier Truss is probably going to start exactly where I'm not certain. Broderick Jones will start exactly where I'm not certain. Then you're going to have the return of Tate Ratledge, who will probably start at right guard. And then at that point, you're filling in one spot. So is that going to be Warren Erickson? Is that going to be, anybody? It could be Fairchild comes in and plays well. There's a lot of competition on the interior of the offensive line. Also, if Mims comes in and plays really well, that would kick a tackle inside, which could be Xavier Truss. I mean, there's a lot of options on the offensive side of the ball. I think the return of Ratledge is a big deal because you really did go the whole season without a starting guard. And that was a guy who won the job in the preseason camp and spring and then preseason camp, and you lose him on the third play of the season, whatever it was. He was gone for the whole year. So Matt Luke had some juggling to do the entire way, and you saw guys that were getting developed. Broderick Jones getting developed. Now you're going to have Truss with it. Where is Xavier Truss going to be in all of this? So there's a lot of moving parts here, but they're all pretty good moving parts. There's a lot to work with on this offensive line. Now, look, Sam Pittman's philosophy was different, it seemed like, than Matt Luke's. Matt Luke's was more about, I don't know about, I don't ever want to call an offensive line finesse, but it wasn't the straight up sheer power that we saw from Georgia under Sam Pittman's time. I think that you can win multiple ways. You don't have to win any one way in football. So I'll be curious to see where Kirby goes here. There's a lot of options. I mean, but as a person who's covered this program for 2+ decades, I have learned that knowing where Kirby Smart's going to go with something is a false thought. I mean, it's hard to know. I would keep your eye on Nick Jones, who's at the Rams and worked his way up. He was at Coastal for a while, and I think he's got some tie over with Mike Bobo. And then you've got, Sissy Searles was at Georgia for an extended period of time under Mark Richt. He's at North Carolina right now. Those are two guys that would be people to pay attention to. I think, in a way, I think Nick even more because he's younger. And, Nick's probably not quite 30 at this point. And a lot of what Georgia's been doing has been getting, Kirby's been getting younger as a staff, generally speaking. Now, those are two guys. That doesn't mean it's going to be either one of those guys. We can't know that or report that right now. But I know how Kirby is, and to think that he hasn't known this was coming is wrong. To think that he doesn't have something lined up already is wrong. He knows where he's going. Where that will be, I'm not sure. I doubt he is negotiating with people right now. He knew what was going on ahead of time, and that's just all there is to it. But I think whenever whenever you're taking a look at someone who won a national championship, they were successful at their position, and it's Matt Luke um, was a very good recruiter for Georgia and did a good job. This is a lot of turnover now from this staff to 2022. You got Lanning is gone, Matt Luke is gone, Hankton's gone, Adai is gone. I think Hankton and Adai will be the least missed. Lanning certainly will be missed. But, I don't think you should undervalue that Matt Luke was a very, very important part of the national championship season at Georgia. They don't have this kind of season, I don't think, if the offensive line doesn't play well. And again, going back to to the national championship game and the Clemson game, both those are both pivotal moments. Um, Sorry, got somebody texting me about this very thing. Those are both pivotal moments in the season that is Georgia, and we'll see where the Dogs go from here. I mean, another person now that someone's texting me that pops into my brain, and he's not done a lot of coaching, but he is well thought of, is Fernando Velasco. Okay, so Fernando was on the team in '07, was a center for that team, and he was a very important part of that time at Georgia too. And he's at Arkansas right now. If I'm not, he was most recently at Arkansas. So those three guys would be someone that I'd pay attention to. But again, Fernando is not coached, so that I'm aware of. So he's just been a part of the staff at Arkansas. But it's breaking news. You can go read it over at Dog Post or click the link down below to pick up DAWGSTRUCTION today. This is big news. I mean, off season. We're in the off season. I can assure you of that. Off season coaching changes are a little different than right after the year. I mean, we're past signing day and things have kind of settled down. It's kind of crazy. Crazy would be this happening after spring football. But there's a lot of really good offensive linemen for Georgia in this system right now. They're good players, and you know these things happen, and Kirby's going to, you win national championships, you're going to have to replace staff because they're going to get opportunities, and guys are just going to. I mean, Matt Luke was a head coach for 2 years. Matt Luke doesn't have to coach if he doesn't want to. This isn't about money, so I don't know. I've given you three names. I'd pay attention to those, knowing that it's possible that it could be completely somebody else. I think Kirby probably already knows where he's going, but that's me. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the website.